It's Jonathan Kopacz. I am a current junior here at the University of Toledo in the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics as a biology major. As of right now, I am planning on graduating in the spring of 2023. My hometown is Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I'm from the area just outside of Ann Arbor actually, so it's actually Whitmore Lake. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that originally caught my eye for Toledo was the fact that my sister had been interested in it, kind of what sparked my interest. And so I was actually able to participate in the Youth Nations scholarship week over the summer in I think it was June or July of 2017. So I was able to go there and I was fortunate enough to win a large scholarship. And so that was one of the big deciding factors of not only making college affordable, but feeling a place where I felt close to home. So for Toledo, it's only about 55 minutes from home, so it felt like I could still go and see my family on the weekend if I needed to, but I still had that separation where I could still grow as an individual. So I think that was definitely one of the major keys to why I was interested in Toledo. But more specifically, when I was looking at colleges, I wanted to find a university that I wasn't just a number at. So obviously being in the background of the Ann Arbor area, there's the University of Michigan, which is a wonderful university, but I've had several students that go there that I grew up with that felt like they couldn't make any personal connections or that they struggled to get into research. And so going into the medical field, I knew that I really wanted to get involved in research. I wanted to find ways to be a leader on campus, and I felt like Toledo was that perfect blend of, yes, it sometimes feels like a smaller school, but you still have that big school feel because you can interact with people and they know you by their name. So for me, when I was interested in looking into research opportunities, I actually took the initiative of looking beyond the years before I came to college. So it was July of 2019, because I started in the fall of 2019, where I went on the website. And what I love about Toledo is that we are very transparent with the research that we do. We want our students to know. And so I was able to research all of the different opportunities for research that I was interested in. And it gave me the emails and contact information for professors. So I started reaching out to a few professors to try to see if that was an option to start right as I started college. I chose not to get involved with research during that first semester because I wanted to hit the ground running. I wanted to take care of my GPA and my classes and just feeling like at home at Toledo. So I waited till the second semester. But as we all know, with the unfortunate pandemic that came in March, that was around the time where I was starting to look into doing research for the summer. So because of that, I ended up delaying getting involved with research until towards the end of my sophomore year. And so it was during about February or so, 2021, I started reaching out to different professors. So with my own personal ties to the reasons why I want to go into medicine, a huge part of that is family members that have passed away from cancer. So breast cancer specifically was one that I've always been very passionate about. So I was very happy to find Dr. Deborah Vestal's lab works specifically with breast cancer cells and all the research that she does. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, this is who I am, and this is why I'm interested in your research, and I think that I could be a great asset to you in the future. And she set up a Zoom interview. We went from there, and then I started at June. So what was really great about that is not only did it give me time to get involved with research, but I was able to do it in a little bit of a different way than a lot of students that I know at the university. Many of them get involved during your freshman year, but it's important that students know that it's okay not to have to start as a freshman in order to be involved in research. So within my specific research, I have spent since June up until currently working on a few different projects, primarily looking at guanylate binding proteins and how they affect breast cancer cells. So specifically right now I'm working on a project that is looking at the mitochondria, and what I'm looking at is how the mitochondrial projections are changing not only in their length, their width, and ultimately the elongation index, but ultimately also the total number of projections per cell. And what we're trying to see is, does the presence of those GBP, granulate binding proteins, when they're present in those cells, how is that affecting those different conditions? So what we've started to notice is that when GBP is present, we're seeing more longer projections, total number, and a little bit wider width. And so the conclusion that we're coming to, based on previous research, is that the process of mitochondrial fission and fusion when they'll split is that that's actually being inhibited. And so that can lead down the road for potential new cancer drugs and things like that. So right now I'm working on putting together all the data sets for that. That'll be put into a grant. So while that wasn't the thing that I was most interested in first about the research, because personally I was more interested in the wet lab aspect of it, it's been a great opportunity to practice those soft skills of working with Microsoft Excel, learning how to put in those formulas, learning how to do different things. That's helped me become a more well-balanced person and kind of look at research more than just experimenting with cells, there's a lot more aspects to it than what you might think you're getting into it. Yeah, it's definitely an experience that I have never felt before. So I'm working at St. Anne's Hospital here in Toledo as a phlebotomist, and so I'll draw blood during the morning runs in the hospital. And I've had several interactions with oncology patients, specifically breast cancer patients. And it's been a surreal experience to me to share the research that I'm doing and talk to them about the different treatment options they're going through, and seeing how those fields kind of connect, and learning that some other research that's related to what we're doing has had a positive impact on their diagnosis and prognosis. So just seeing those kind of connections brings it full circle with the research that I'm doing in those lab, the hard hours that you put in, it's going to pay off, and it might even save someone's life. So to me, that's ultimately what makes it worth it, and it's those small victories that go along the way that ultimately make the experience so much more worthwhile. Involved with several organizations on campus. The first one is I'm in a fraternity, so I'm in the Sigma Phi Epsilon Ohio Iota chapter here at the University of Toledo. So I joined that fraternity in the spring of 2020, and I was interested in joining before that, but like I said, with classes, I wasn't in a spot where I felt comfortable I wanted to get my foot set at Toledo. So when I decided to join, there were several members in the fraternity that were either in my classes or a year ahead of me that were on the pre-med track. And so it was a great opportunity for me to reach out to them and learn about the things that they were doing and how their involvement in the fraternity was helping them become more well-rounded individuals and help them on their professional track to become physicians. So as I've grown in my time during SIGEP, it's been a surreal experience to not only be mentored, but ultimately be able to mentor some of the younger members in our chapter that are also on that pre-med track, and it's been a great experience so far. In addition to SIGEP, I'm also involved in several other organizations. One particular is the Bridge U Toledo organization that I'm currently the president of. So Bridge was one of the largest, if not the largest, service organization on campus from about 2013 up until the start of the pandemic. At one point I had over 400 members. And unfortunately, it kind of fell apart with the pandemic, like things do. And part of the process of being in SIGEP is that it connects you to different organizations on campus. So often throughout the past 5 or 10 years, SIGEP has had many different leadership positions within Bridge. So I actually had the opportunity of restarting the organization with some mentorship from a student who had already graduated from Toledo. And it was a great opportunity to have someone help me. So one of the great things about Toledo is that if you're willing to put in the effort of reaching out to people, there's always a mentor or someone who's willing to help you accomplish your goals and the dreams and things that you want to do. So with Bridge, it was nice to be able to have that mentorship from an older student as I started up that organization. So right now we will meet on Friday afternoons and we'll make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then on Saturday we go downtown and we share that meal with the homeless community. And it's a great opportunity to not only have students from different organizations on campus and different walks of life, different faith lives, different ethnicity, they'll come together and they'll get to know each other. But the real magic happens when we go downtown and we share that meal with the homeless community, and you really get to know another person, right? Because as people, we crave companionship, we crave that ability to connect with others, and being able to take time out of your day, that's what service is all about. So I've really enjoyed being involved with Bridge. In addition to that, I've also been a part of several honor societies. I've been a part of the Lambda Sigma Honor Society for sophomores. I'm currently in the Order of Omega Honor Society for the top 5% of Greek life on campus. Recently, I was just accepted into the Mortarboard Senior Honor Society for the top 28 seniors on campus. So it's been a privilege and an honor to be a part of those organizations. In addition to that, I've also been heavily involved with the Catholic Student Association here on campus in the leadership program that they have as well. It's been a great opportunity to learn more about myself and how to lead other people. One of the last organizations that I've been involved in is Period Medlife. And what I love about Period Medlife is just the diversity of opportunities that you have within that organization. We focus on everything from raising awareness about period poverty in Northwest Ohio and around the country, and ultimately focusing on medical education and raising money for mission trips around the country. So while I am the only male currently serving on the executive board for the organization, it's been a great experience to do so, and I'm happy to do so because of those family ties where I grew up with 6 sisters. So growing up in my house, it was a regular conversation to understand the menstrual poverty and those things associated with periods. So it's been a great opportunity to educate myself, because as a future physician, I'm going to have to serve a wide-ranging group of people, and I need to be comfortable talking about those kind of topics. So period midlife has helped me grow more comfortable in sharing those kind of experiences with others, and ultimately it's been a beautiful experience talking to students on campus that have been able to receive free menstrual products on behalf of the period product drives that we do on campus. So I had the opportunity to serve as a medical intern at Halim Clinic, which is a free local Muslim-founded clinic right down the road. Actually, it's about 15 minutes from the university. And this clinic offers free medical and dental services. And it's a great opportunity as a pre-med or pre-dental student, to give you that initial exposure to serving patients and all of those basic things that you're going to need in a career in medicine. And so what I really appreciated about that opportunity, about that internship, was interacting with patients face to face. So for that internship on Saturday mornings, I would drive to the clinic and I would either work at the front desk checking in patients or answering phone calls, or I would be doing triage. So I would grab patients from the waiting room, bring them back to the room, and we do a basic patient interview history, learn about what's bringing them in today, and then presenting that to the doctor. So being able to have those varying experiences at the clinic has helped me have a better understanding and grasp on what it means to work in the medical field and what I might be doing in the future. So I have really benefited from this experience. It's also been a great experience for many of my fellow friends that have also had that experience, and I'd highly recommend it to any student interested in the medical field as well. I would definitely say that my most proud accomplishment so far here at the University of Toledo is rebuilding the Bridge organization here on campus. When I heard about the Bridge organization as a freshman, I was very eager to join. I was very excited to get involved, and I loved every minute of it. So I was very sad and disheartened to see that we had to stop our organization because of COVID. And when most of the seniors had already graduated that were on the executive board, I took it upon myself to take over the organization and rebuild it. And it has been a beautiful journey of rebuilding this organization that has helped so many people. This past year, we've made over 2,500 meals for the homeless community, and it's been a great opportunity for me to connect with students all over campus. Some of my closest friends now are people that I've met through rebuilding the Bridge organization. And what I've really enjoyed about Bridge is the fact that we are bridging the gap between the hearts of fellow students and the students and the people that we're serving downtown. So you have the students that are in Greek life, students that aren't in Greek life, that are involved in other areas on campus. Being able to bring them together and collaborate is ultimately what I think life to some degree is all about, right? We're interacting with people we've never met, and we're loving and serving the people around us. So I have greatly benefited from being a part of Bridge, and I feel like it has been my favorite memory so far of being in college, and just the impact it's had on me on a personal and character level. I think the first thing that I had to overcome in order to be successful on campus was dealing with my own pride. So in high school, like I said, I was homeschooled, and the interactions that I had, I thought I was all that. And when I came to the University of Toledo, I realized that there were plenty of other qualified people that were just as smart than me, if not, and they had plenty of other accolades as well. So it was a little bit of a humbling experience. And I think that part of that was a life lesson I had to learn, that life isn't all about me. It's about other people as well. And so learning how to ask for help comes along with dealing with our pride. So I think that at first I struggled my first year because I did not take the time to reach out to my success coach or my academic advisor. I thought I could do it all by myself until I scheduled for the wrong classes. And that was a little unfortunate because then it almost set me behind, but thankfully my advisor was able to work with me to kind of get me back on track. But I think that definitely not taking the time to reach out to those mentors and those people that were put in place for me to succeed was something that definitely I had to overcome. And it was a life lesson that unfortunately I had to learn the hard way a little bit, but ultimately I did learn it, and I'm glad for it. So I'd recommend every student that comes to UT to take advantage of the services that we have, because there is a clear roadmap that's set up to help you graduate and help you be as successful as you want to. All you have to do is use those services that are provided for you. Obviously, with the research that I've done with Dr. Vestal, it's been a great experience to connect with her. But first, I'll back up a little bit. So the first professor that I connected with on a personal level was Dr. Mary Templin from the Honors College. She was my professor for Honors 1010 in my first semester, and then also for Honors 2020. And I really appreciated the way that she was personally invested in the success of her students. Not only just in the classroom, but taking the time to check in on them. How are you feeling today? That really meant a lot to me when, especially as a new student coming into a larger school and all those nerves and excitedness and different emotions, she took the time to make sure I felt welcome and included at the University of Toledo. So I really benefited from having her as a mentor in my own life. I haven't connected with her much recently, but early on in college, that was a great resource for me. I think that for any student coming to any university, it's important that you find those professors, faculty that can help you reach those goals that you want to, and they're going to steer you in the right direction. So that was definitely the first mentor that I had in college. But more recently with Dr. Vestal, since I've joined her lab, she has been an incredible resource to me, not only on a personal level, but also a professional level, the opportunities that she's provided to me. So for example, right now, I serve on the Student Advisory Council for the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. That's been a great experience, just not only to get to know the dean and the associate deans, but ultimately other very successful students at the University of Toledo. I've also served as a teaching assistant for the NSM 1000 orientation course that every new student in our college has to take. That's been a great opportunity to present presentations in front of students and share my love for the university and ultimately the different organizations and the career path that I've chosen. So it's been a great opportunity to mentor them in that way. And then in addition to that, obviously there comes publications with research. So being able to be included on papers and feeling like a well-respected person in her lab has ultimately helped my own personal self-confidence. And so I think that those have all things that she has taken the time to work with me and help me with those things, and I am incredibly grateful for those. I think if I had to go back and redo anything, I think the biggest thing that I would go back and do is make a more intentional effort to get involved and meet people from different backgrounds and different walks of life early on in college. My first year, as many students are, I was very anxious and nervous coming, and it took me a little bit to get out of my shell. So I would just encourage any student that comes to Toledo to jump full in, take advantage of the different opportunities and the different events that are provided to you. You're going to meet a lot of different students that are in the same spot as you. They're also nervous, they're excited to make new friends, and just by having a smile on your face, it can go a long way. So that's definitely something I wish I would have done. Absolutely. So Toledo has done a great job of preparing me for medical school, but starting with my reason for wanting to pursue medicine, my grandmother passed away when I was 13 years old from breast cancer, and it was a very traumatic experience for not only me, but for my entire family, because my grandmother was like a second mother to me. And so losing her was very, very hard, and I was very saddened and troubled by this. But as I took time to reflect on, the different experiences I've had in my life as I started to enter high school, I looked at medicine as a potential career for me, just as reflecting on the way that her doctors and nurses took care of my grandmother, the way that they were very intentional about serving every one of her needs. It made me feel very special and close and dear, because when I was growing up, she had a unique ability for making me feel like the most important person in the world when I was talking with her. And I was like, I want to be able to do that with the patients that I serve. So as I journeyed through high school, I took a variety of classes, and as I was looking at different schools, one of the major things that drew me to the University of Toledo was the BACC2MD program that we offer here. So I was fortunate enough to have the grades and GPA to get into that program, so I was accepted for that program. And as I continued throughout my time at UT, I was able to eventually interview for the medical school. And just this past week, I have accepted an offer for a seat in the fall 2023 medical school class here at the University of Toledo. So I'm very excited for that opportunity to continue my education here. I firmly believe that all of the classes that I've taken have helped me thoroughly prepare for the rigors of medical school, something that I know many students, including myself, I've always been concerned about is how is my undergraduate years going to prepare me to be a successful student in medical school and beyond. And I think that the intentional efforts of the students that we have here, especially in the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, many of my biology professors, taking the time to make sure that the students really understand the information and why it's important that they get a firm foundation before going on to those graduate programs. I think that academic advising is incredibly important, especially at the undergraduate level, because at 17, 18, 19 years old, coming into college, oftentimes students still don't know what they want to pursue. And that is completely fine. And that's the beauty of working with academic advisors and success coaches. My own personal academic advisor as a biology major has been Beth Denzel, and she's done a tremendous job working with me. She's always very punctual, responding to my emails and phone calls, even at later hours in the afternoon, working with me to make sure that my schedule is up to date so that I can graduate on time. And I know she's done that for many other students in the biology department, so I really appreciate everything that she's done for me and for the rest of my cohort. As far as success coaches, working with Alicia Cook, I have greatly benefited from the random phone calls from, hey, Alicia, I have a question, can you help me with this? It's been a great opportunity just to have that resource and take advantage of it in those times of questions when I need something. So I appreciate her as well and all of her efforts here at UT. In my experience here at the University of Toledo, I have had a great opportunity of working closely with the Prehealth Advising Office, specifically Chavron Kelly and Dr. D. It's been a great opportunity to attend many of our future healthcare seminar series events and many other shadowing opportunities. It's been a great opportunity to not only interact with medical professionals, but ultimately other practicing physicians in the Toledo area. And as a future medical student myself, it's been a great opportunity to interact with those people because it has helped me paint a framework and a picture for what my career might look like in the future. So as these years where I've progressed through the BACC2MD program and ultimately, hopefully into medical school soon, working with the Prehealth office has helped me on my letters of recommendation, who to ask, my personal essays, extracurricular activities, creating a roadmap that's going to help me be the best version of myself and ultimately the best applicant for medical school. So I have greatly benefited with working closely with Chavron and Dr. D. I appreciate both of them and the hard work that they put in every single day for our students. They go above and beyond the expectations that anyone could set for them, and ultimately I can contribute a decent amount of my success to their hard work. If I could give any advice to myself as a 17-year-old senior in high school, would be to take advantage of the opportunities that come along with collaborating with people from a variety of backgrounds. So growing up in Ann Arbor, the majority of the people were very similar to me, had very similar values, and while that is a great thing, coming to Toledo has helped me be able to meet people from such a wide background of people, whether it's from a diversity standpoint, ethnic background. It's been a great opportunity to learn more about the rich history of cultures that we have here at the University of Toledo. So that is definitely something that I wish that I could go back and tell myself to do. In addition to that, along the pre-med route, one of the other things that I wish that I could give my 17-year-old self advice on is to not worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry, don't compare yourself to the people around you. Focus on the things that you want to do. Especially on the pre-medical track, there's often a tendency for students to look around and, okay, what's this guy doing, or my friend is doing this, and there's a lot of external pressure. But ultimately, what's going to make you the best medical school applicant, in my opinion, is following your passions. Every single activity that I have done in college, it has been because I've wanted to be a part of the organization or the experience, and I have gotten a lot out of it because it's been my passion and love for that specific experience that's helped me along the way. Regardless of what the experience is, whether it's research, an extracurricular organization, a job, it might sound fun for a little while, but if you aren't wholly invested and if you're not passionate about it, it's not going to be a fun experience and you're going to end up miserable and hating it. And that's going to reflect on your applications for medical school and other graduate programs. So to any student, I would highly recommend just focus on yourself. Focus on those experiences that make you excited to not only be at the University of Toledo, but excited for the future career path that you have ahead of yourself. Focus on the things that you want to do, not the things that other people are doing.